Good morning to all. Hello, hello. So, let me get my browser up. Jump into the morning's news. Bet there's plenty. I know, in fact, I know there's plenty. We got Dan Bongino on the way out of the Hi. Sounds like he's basically already checked out. And will officially be leaving. Officially, I think in January. Yep. Second. All right, there we go. Let me find.
Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show.
I think he wants to go back to his show.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet he does at this point. I'd be freaking frustrated as heck if I was Dan Bongino. Blame him. And on the other, aren't you kind of like, that kind of defeating the purpose of going there, trying to change things? You know, I don't know. All right, let me pull up Bongino's personal statement here. There it is. I will be leaving my position with the FBI in January. I want to thank President Trump, AG Bondi, and Director Patel for the opportunity to serve with purpose. Most importantly, I want to thank you, my fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve you. God bless America and those who defend her. Short and sweet. That. I am going to be very eager to hear what he's got to say after he's officially out. Even so, I'm sure his tongue is still going to be legally tied in some respects, but still, I think we'll be able to get at least more of a picture than we've had. What the fuck is like really going on behind the scenes? I think if he is indeed returning to his show, which it sounds like, there's no way he's going to not eventually let some things slip. I'm sure the NDA excuse will be used, yeah. Especially at first, but his personality, man, he's not gonna stay silent completely. Especially if he's actually pissed off. Like legitimately pissed off with what he saw there. And if that is indeed why he's leaving, I don't think he's going to like completely stay silent about it. See. Did Patel say anything? Probably. Let's see. I think he did. Dan is the best partner I could have asked for in helping restore this FBI. Favorite 2 words. This FBI. He brought critical reforms to make the organization more efficient, led the successful summer heat op, served as the people's voice for transparency, and delivered major breakthroughs in long unsolved cases like the pipe bomb investigation. And that's only a small part of the work he went about every single day delivering for America. He not only completed his mission, he far exceeded it. We will miss him, but I'm thankful he accepted the call to serve. Our country is better and safer for it. All right. Oh, let me see first if I had anything. I think I did. This was interesting. I played it early this morning, but I think probably ought to play it again.
Phone near the White House just left. Jack.
So Posobiec, I guess, was at the White House and all but confirms from some high-level source, unknown who, but confirms that Ella Cook, the student at Brown who was the first killed, was indeed targeted and hit with multiple bullets. Multiple bullets. Didn't stop at one in the face. The subject just spoke to high-level source and states the other injuries appear to be incidental, which would definitely make sense in a crowded room in a hectic situation, especially if there are people behind her. Rounds will go through people. Definitely can. And this has happened, especially again in hectic situations. People running all around, knocking into people, maybe even including the shooter. We still have no effing clue what actually went down in that room at this point.
Walk me through what we've learned this afternoon.
Which is really kind of sketchy. The way they're handling this is insanely sketchy. Ridiculous, in fact. Almost to the point of it being, if it were anything other than a multi-murder investigation, it would be a joke. It's nuts.
About the targeting of Ella Cook, sir.
Well, Steve, thanks again for having me on. And yes, just left the White House, although I wasn't there on this situation, had some other meetings, but the information I received does come from an extremely well-placed source, very high-level source, and someone who has let's just say, familial connection to one of the people that have been involved in this case. And the information that we've received, story that's come out of there, is that this was, in fact, targeted, that the assailant came in and fired multiple rounds directly at Ella Cook, and that the story that is coming up, that's being told at least by students on campus and people who are directly involved in this, is that seemed like she was the main target and everyone else was incidental. Now again,
it seemed, hang on, but also this person, the familial issue, is someone that was wounded, not killed, but was wounded in the shooting. And this is what they told, this is what their story is about what happened there, correct?
this is the story from in the room.
Ooh.
Yes, and this is what we're hearing from someone who was, like I said, directly involved in the situation.
And it was no doubt in their mind that Ella Cook was targeted and was actually the reason this it looked like this thing took place, or was the focus of attention by the assailant, correct?
That was the very question I asked. I said, did it seem that Ella was the target? They said yes, Ella was the target. Everyone else was incidental to being in the room.
Wow.
And that I did also ask regarding, was there any familiarity? Did someone recognize the assailant? They said no. And I said, what about these comments about a statement that was made or a phrase that was shouted? And it was unclear. They said it was unclear. Obviously, it was a chaotic situation. Bullets are being fired, but they also said that it seemed like many rounds were fired throughout this situation. That if this was a handgun, would have required reloads or a high capacity magazine, something like that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The teaching assistant that was running, one of the teaching assistants, I think, that was running the tutorial for the Principle of Economics course for the exam, was on, I think, Dana Bash on Sunday. And Dana Bash never asked this direct question. She kind of beat around the bush but he didn't offer that up. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought the police chief, and of course he gave it a third in Hispanic or in Spanish and 2/3 in English, but I thought one of the
Ridiculous.
reporters actually asked him if there was any feeling that anybody was targeted, and I thought he said the answer was no. My point is that the official position right now coming out is that they don't know, or there's not enough evidence to point to this. Correct? Am I wrong in that?
This is the official position. And of course, Steve, you and I watched that and covered the press conference yesterday where they were very, very angry with people asking questions about the official position. They were very direct
weird.
about not
Very weird.
wanting certain information from the crowd, from the audience, as well as asking for tips. So it was very strange in terms of that reaction. But at the same time, they also said that they did not believe that it was targeted, whereas when we're talking to people that are, again, directly associated with the incident, who were there on campus, they are saying something else.
Listen, here's the thing, and obviously the Rob Reiner situation, his wife is a like a Greek tragedy, right? But you're getting 20 stories a day from Daily Mail with the intimate details of what happened and the kid and all this. There's nothing coming out of Brown. Now, there's one thing to do an investigation, and I realize I put another photo out today. There's something else about warning the public. So I think, Jack, what we're doing is saying, hey, it's just not the local officials, because that looks like the Keystone Cops. And you're right. We sat through this fiasco yesterday that was just embarrassing. But I do think it's incumbent, if it's accurate, for federal officials to come out now and at least tell us what they know as a warning to other parents, and maybe not helping on this case, but as a warning to other people, correct?
That's the main question. We're here on day 5 of this thing, and there were many people who said, do you have information that this person is no longer dangerous? Do you have information that it's possible that there's no...
Like, everything that they're doing indicates, at least to me in my reading, that they know what happened here, that they know that this was actually targeted, and that's the reason why there's no danger to anyone else, because they already know the guy got who he was going for. Like, why else would they tell everyone they're safe?
Other, that there's no other situation going on here. Do you have information that there's no threat? And again, that information was not given to anyone. And so we need to find out whether or not there's an active threat, because we know that there is an active shooter that is still at loose, and they're not.
And yet people are being told that there's, just go about your day.
Not giving us any information.
Yep.
No, that's what's so bizarre. They actually made the declarative statement that they didn't think it was any. They have no idea who the gunman is. They really don't have any leads, at least what they're telling us publicly.
That's bullshit.
They put out another photo of some other guy today to look at, which is a much clearer picture. But I think it was the mayor that was pretty adamant when they asked him. They sent the kids home, and they said there's no imminent threat. I mean, I don't know how they would derive that, since they sat there and were begging for information about the shooter themselves. So
something ain't adding up. The other Democrat Rep W. Wasserman Schultz, the old ramen noodle head herself. Look at that thing. Says the biggest threat to America right now is not Islamic terrorists, but of course Donald Trump. Yeah.
What is the bigger threat to America right now? American values, American
That atrocious thing on her head. That would be the biggest threat.
life. Islamophobia or jihad?
Oh God. Ugh.
I think we have to focus, quite frankly, on, if we're worried about the threats to American values, on the person who's in the White House. I mean, we have a president.
Come on. Really?
No,
Is that where we're going? Come on.
Yeah, I'm going there, because we have a president who has completely undermined our democracy, who has.
So you don't see jihad. You don't see this is a problem.
What I don't see is it as a single lens problem. We have a president who has been determined to undermine our constitutional.
Ugh, she ain't. I mean, she was never looking that great, but that's a whole nother level.
Principles to degrade our democracy,
Like through the floor.
to divide instead of unite us. The responsibility.
I have to say, Congressman, you know how much I admire you, and I always appreciate being willing to come on and discuss things. But we booked you to talk about anti-Semitism and Islamophobia in America. So I'm asking the question
about Islamophobia.
No, those on the left right now, members of Congress. Okay, Bernie Sanders and AOC today. The normalization and acceptance of Islamophobia in politics is disgusting. Our Muslim neighbors are not Republican scapegoats for anti-Semitic attacks and Trump's failed policies. How Trump's policies laid. Hold on, Bernie Sanders. We must stand together and end anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and all hate, no exceptions. Mamdani. 1 million Muslims live in New York City. We belong there, as does every other New Yorker. Vile Islamophobia from the councilwoman has no place in our city. What did the councilwoman say? We need to take very seriously the need to begin the expulsion of Muslims from Western nations. Again, Democrats do not seem all that concerned right now about the threat from jihad nations. Again.
Mamdani. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh yeah, that happened. That hair, man. Ugh. 2-decade-old package of ramen noodles, just like pinned onto her skull. All right, down to the bottom of the pile we go. Oh, I missed y'all last night. My apologies, but I was otherwise occupied. I was in DC at the new Kennedy Center with Miss Radix and our little one. Looks more and more like her mama every day. Already pretty much taller, I think, probably at this point. Kennedy Center was looking great. Beautiful. Stunning. Mike Johnson was there. Saw Mike Johnson. Where's Mike? Where's old Mike? There's Mike. Mike Johnson came out and read to us. We had story time with Mike Johnson. It was good fun. He was a good reader. Quite good. He is, after all, the speaker. I figure he's good at speaking. But he came out and read a verse from the Nativity story in the Bible. So it was quite nice. Lovely night. Very nice. And thanks to one of you fine viewers out there that kind enough to buy the tickets and send us on a night out, which is nice because we don't really get to do that hardly ever. So thank you, big time. It was just a lot of fun. It was beautiful. Really cool to see the Kennedy Center under Trump, I gotta say. It was packed, freaking packed. Despite all of the left-hard media's insistence that Grinnell is ruining the fucking Kennedy Center, and he's not selling shows, and they're screwed. They're never gonna recover. Not what I saw. It was freaking packed. It was packed. Like, including the balconies up behind us. When Mike Johnson was announced and walked out, I wish I had been taking video, but it was hard enough to sneak that one photo that I just showed you. They don't allow cameras at least under Grinnell, which I actually think is really nice, because you're focused on what's going on in front of you and not on a stupid little screen, which you could just do at home. I Oh, I was able to sneak that one. I had to take that photo of Mike Johnson because it was just it was a fun little moment. But yeah, that's when Mike Johnson walked out and was introduced. The room cheered for him. The room cheered and clapped, and as he walked out, people stood up, clapped, roared, and there was one lone, solitary, single boo. Just one in a massive room, heart of DC. First thing he said when he walked out was some kind of joke about it, like, "Well, if you're new here, welcome to DC." He was clearly indicating like this is what happens here. Like this is the kind of stuff you have to get used to in DC, like the normal thing. So it was fun. It was good. It was nice to see him get a good reception in the Kennedy Center of all places. I don't think that would have happened at any other point in the last decade. Cool. Oh, good. She got some photos. Yeah, they had a little nativity scene outside with a little moo cow. Look at this thing. Hold on. Yep. They had a bunch of other animals too. I don't know if she got any of them. No. There was a donkey on stage. They had the nativity scene like set up on stage like that. And they did have a single donkey to represent the animals. But when you went outside, that's the ceiling of the theater room. Beautiful. It's such a stunning building. In all respects, gigantic, massive in scale, like overwhelming. It's so cool to be inside. I don't know if I don't think she posted a photo of the main hallway, but it is incredible how big that freaking room is. I read somewhere that it's like the biggest room in the world. Or like was at one time. Right, what yeah, was. Let me see. Yep, was considered one of the largest rooms in the world when the Kennedy Center opened in 1971. There's a photo. I wish they had these I don't think they had these old chandeliers. I think they had, I'll have to check my photos, but I think they have different lighting now. Very cool. Very cool. Yep. So anyway, it was fun. Good night. All right, let's keep going here. PSB, could you turn your volume up, please? My TV is at 10 and I can barely hear you. Give me a second. Let me see what might be causing that for you on YouTube. Is it me personally, my volume when I'm speaking? My microphone? Are videos okay? You'll have to fill me in, Saltwater Rabbit. Let me at least see if I can get my microphone built. Probably my limiter. Okay. No. Oh, there we go. Okay. Low on video too? Okay. I will try to fix that. That should definitely handle my voice. Okay. Yeah. Good, good. Okay. Hopefully that will improve things big time. Let me adjust one more thing here. There we go. Okie dokie. That ought to do it. And on the screen capture here. Try turning the bar up a little bit. All right. Well, let me know how it is on the next one. Go to the bottom of our pile here. Have a look-see where we're beginning. Boop, 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 boop. There we are. President's schedule today. Receives his intel briefing at 11 o'clock in the morning. Signs an executive order 1:30. 4:15 p.m. Participates in a Christmas reception. Cool. 6 p.m. signs the National Defense Authorization Act. Yeah. And then 8:15, yet again, another Christmas reception. Lots of those this time of year, I suppose. Okay. Let's see. Last day of House and Senate sessions today before holiday break. Of course, they're going to go be lazy for a while. Not do their jobs. Suppose I'll forgive it for the next week or so, but Hitchhiker's Guide to Where We Stand with Healthcare. Waiting for them to fix it. How's that? Still waiting. Law that allows President Trump to take out the drug boats was authored by none other than Chuck frickin' Schumer. Oh, man. I don't really have anything to stand on now.
This in front of me, this is the Maritime Drug Law Enforcement Act of 1986, authored by a member of Congress in 1986 from the state of New York. His name, Chuck Schumer. He wrote the law that passed almost unanimously that makes it legal to blow drug boats out of the water. It happened in the 80s a lot, in the 90s a lot. Go ahead, look it up, folks. Chuck Schumer, the author of this bill that made what we're doing with Venezuelan drug boats fully legal. We don't need permission from the rest of the world. Chuck Schumer gave us that in 1986. This in front of me, this is the Maritime Drug Law Enforcement Act of 1986, authored by a member of Congress in 1986.
Yeah, they're not gonna be able to say much to that, I don't think. You're kidding me. CBS News. Get a glimpse inside President Obama's nearly completed presidential center in Chicago. His presidential library and museum that looks like a turbo prison.
Hey everybody, I am here at the Obama Presidential Center. It is starting to happen. The landscaping
Take the hard hat off, you loser.
starting to come in. The athletic center is basically done.
You guys keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. How y'all doing? I just appreciate your work.
If you ask me what my favorite spots are, I have to say that the sky room at the top of the tower gives you one of the best views of Chicago that you will have ever seen. And then there's just some amazing views and some amazing art, because art and culture is part of how we build communities and how we bring about change.
Each place is part of my life. This is my magic.
I could not be more excited because I know people here on the south side of Chicago and visitors from all around the world are going to be able to use this space in an active way.
It looks great, guys. Y'all doing good.
But I got to say, this reading room, I think I'm going to be spending some time in here, so maybe we'll end up reading a book together and we'll have to whisper because librarians are very strict. Look forward to you guys visiting. We're going to be opening next year. Look forward to seeing you here.
Oh, yeah. Heard about this one last night. U.S. House just passed legislation to criminalize transgender sex transitions on minors, including surgeries, puberty blockers, and so-called hormone therapy. Good. On to the Senate now. But will they do it? There were 4 GOP no's on this? Really? Who dat? Kennedy? Oh, okay, from Utah, not the other one. Lawler, Fitzpatrick, and Evans. There were 3 Democrat yays. Cuellar, Davis, and Gonzalez. Australian police rammed a vehicle near Bondi Beach and arrested 5 suspected Islamists. Authorities have not released further details, but there is speculation that the group may have been planning another attack. Oh, wow. Ooh. Wow. That one looks like he has tidy whities on his head. Okay. Authorities release images of a person they say was in proximity of the person of interest in the deadly Brown University mass shooting. What? Police seek identity of person who saw person? Is that where we're at?
Breaking developments tonight in the manhunt involving the deadly shooting at Brown University. Late today, police releasing new images asking for the public's help, identifying someone who they say was seen in close proximity to their person of interest. ABC's Matt Rivers with these new images from Providence tonight.
Tonight, authorities with a new public plea. They're looking for this person who was, quote, in proximity of the person of interest in the Brown University shooting.
We truly believe, based on the video footage that we have been watching for a few days, that may have relevant information to the investigation.
5 days into the manhunt, authorities are hoping that this person may be found to help the investigation. Authorities still asking the public to study these videos of that person of interest walking through the neighborhood, examining the way he moves, carries his weight, and his posture.
He will be caught, and it's just a matter of time before we catch him.
Today, investigators releasing this map showing the streets marked in green, where they say the man described as 5'8" with a stocky build was seen in the hours before the shooting, adding the red lines placing him in the area immediately after the crime. And tonight, there are mounting questions about the seeming lack of surveillance footage from inside that Brown University building where the shooting.
Yeah, word on the street is they took them down because they didn't want migrants to get caught by them.
Took place, the university pushing back.
There are cameras in this building. We have turned over all evidence that we are holding at Brown to law enforcement and are cooperating fully with them.
David, the university say they have roughly 1,200 security cameras spread out campus-wide, but not every classroom is covered. And again tonight, David, authorities hoping the public can help them identify this person who they say was in close proximity to the person of interest in this case. David, the public's help key in solving this.
Yeah, they do need a break in this case. Matt Rivers.
This is just a gigantic clusterfuck. Don't have a better word than that. Sorry.
Ways. This case is going to be solved, and I'm saying it right here. They will catch this individual or individuals. It's going to be solved on forensic evidence and crowdsourcing, which is putting these videos out. The law enforcement officers have already put out that there's DNA potentially from the suspect. Now, where did that come from? Well, they said it was a 9mm handgun. If it's a revolver, they didn't get it off a shell casing because those don't get ejected. If it's a pistol, they have that. But they should put that out. And then the other thing, Lawrence, last point on this. Let's get rid of face masks.
Right.
Face masks were banned in the United States when the KKK was running it. We need to ban those because in this instance, it's making it difficult to make the identification ways.
Banning face masks? I don't know about that. I'm not trying to have this tech flipped on me, okay? Like, calm down, dude. Oh yeah. The crypto hag. Carolyn Ellison was quietly moved from federal prison to community confinement after serving 11 months of her 2-year sentence, with online prison records listing an early release for February of 2026. Community confinement, what, like a halfway house, or give it like a month before she screws the whole thing up to bottom. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino announced he's resigning in January. Okay, said the position was a huge strain on his home life. I gave up everything for this. My wife is struggling. I stare at these 4 walls all day in DC by myself. It's hard. Well, I don't think anyone told you it was going to be easy. Were you expecting that, or?
I mean, I gave up everything for this. I mean, you know, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this, and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Cash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. You know, I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these 4 walls all day in DC, you know, by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but I mean separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, you know, we love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You're straightened out at the FBI. You're moving buildings. There's a lot of change.
I got one more thing. I mean, I gave up.
Doobie doobie doop doop. Well, he's out now. He's done. Or will be soon anyway. He's probably checked out mentally anyway. They certainly would. All the bullshit they've had to trudge through, going nowhere. Immensely frustrating. Trump has turned CNN's Caitlin Collins into a tailspin after adding Truth Social like, oh yeah, the plaques below the portraits. They're great. Oh, they're hilarious. Jolly good fun.
So these new plaques have just been added
oh my gosh.
to the so-called presidential walk
Doing a walk and talk
of fame. They almost read, some of them, like Truth Social posts, including the ones under President Obama's that says he was one of the most divisive political figures in American history. Under President Biden's, it describes him as Sleepy Joe Biden and also says that he was the worst U.S. president in history. There are some that are nicer, including under Ronald Reagan's, for example, where President Trump says at the end that he was a fan of Trump's long before he ran for president. The White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt says the president actually hand wrote some of these plaques himself.
Oh, I guarantee you he did. He wrote all the best ones. You can tell.
So these new...
They read like a tweet. A mean tweet in a lot of cases. It's fantastic. TDS has rendered who completely incapable of objective reporting? Oh, Peter Alexander of NBC News. Who knows? I don't recall ever hearing of him, but let's see, Peter.
To be very clear, what you just heard from the President Trump tonight from the White House was...
Oh, the speech last night.
Indistinguishable in many ways from what you hear on the trail in the form of a political rally, except he had the sort of cheery greenery.
Call him Hitler. Literally Hitler.
Here behind him.
You know you want to do it.
I think fundamentally what the president did was, with the sort of brisk pace and that intense energy, is again lay out a series, a lot of his grievances, many falsehoods in the course of it, and again, repeatedly he blamed, right out of the gates, his predecessor, Joe Biden. To be very clear,
I tried to tell people who got excited that that was exactly what you should expect about the speech last night. People all working themselves up like he's going to announce some kind of big, I don't know, who knows what. No. Just a year-end review speech. He announced some good things, though. Some nice things, like sending $1,776 to everyone in the military. Good move. Nice move. Okay, what's next? President announced, well, speaking of, here we go.
And he can promote 1776 costs all he want and giving out a check. That worked for him the first time. 1776, that's less than a rent check in D.C. I don't even know what the impact of that is going to be.
Well, that's certainly true. It is less than the cost of a rent check in D.C. But it will also buy some nice Christmas presents for some kids who don't get to see their families as often as they probably should. Oh, no longer a conspiracy theory. U.S. attorney confirms shops are being set up with the sole purpose, oh yeah, of exchanging SNAP benefits for cash. Of course they're freaking doing that. Yep. Multiple fake stores, one as small as 150 square feet, cashing out as much as $480,000 in EBT per month. $7 million in food stamps turned into cash at 2 locations. Less than 150 square feet in size, smaller than some bathrooms. Stores had 1 register, no carriages, no hand baskets. One legitimate supermarket in the same area as these stores redeems approximately $80,000 in SNAP benefits per month. Like an actual legit supermarket where people are legitimately using SNAP for food. Over the last 20 months, the Juswala Variety Store was redeeming between 3 to 6 times that amount monthly. The 2 fake convenience store owners that were caught were both from Haiti. Every freaking time. It's always these sick shithole countries. Somalia, Haiti.
We are announcing federal charges against 2 men.
Nigeria.
Antonio Bonner and Saul Elisman.
Just get them all the fuck out. I'm sick of beating around the bush with this. I'm sick of other people doing it. Get them the fuck out. I'm sick of it.
For large-scale SNAP benefit trafficking, a scheme that turned a program designed to feed families into a multi-million-dollar criminal enterprise. SNAP benefits are also known as food stamps. The defendants are charged with 1 count of food stamp fraud. As alleged in the charging documents, these men abused one of the government's most critical safety net programs for their own financial gain. This is taxpayer money meant to keep people from going hungry. These defendants decided to take it for themselves. These defendants exchanged SNAP benefits for cash, which they pocketed. Bonner, a naturalized U.S. citizen from Haiti, owned the Juswala Variety Store. Elise May, a lawful permanent resident also from Haiti, owned the Saul Marché Mixé store. These 2 businesses were co-located within a single storefront in Boston. To be certain, these were not supermarkets. They were not full-service groceries. It would be a huge stretch to even call them convenience stores. In fact, the only thing convenient about these stores was how easy it was to commit SNAP benefit fraud. To put this in perspective, the Juswala Variety Store is less than 150 square feet in size, smaller than some bathrooms. The Saul Marché Mixé store was approximately 500 square feet in space. By contrast, a supermarket can be 20,000 to 60,000 square feet in size, have a dozen or more registers, and employ numerous employees. Both the Juswala Variety and Saul Marché Mixé stores had 1 register, no carriages, no hand baskets, and very little food for sale. One legitimate supermarket in the same area as these stores redeems approximately $80,000 in SNAP benefits per month. Over the last 20 months, the Josuela Variety Store was redeeming between 3 and 6 times that amount monthly, with nowhere near the space, inventory, customers, or infrastructure to support it. The Sal Mache Mixe store redeemed over $120,000 in SNAP benefits in the last 6 months. Simply put, there is no plausible way SNAP eligible food could have been purchased from these stores for this long. Yet, these two stores are alleged to have illicitly trafficked nearly $7 million in SNAP benefits.
Good golly. These people are like culturally sick. The places they come from. Like, I don't want that here. I don't care. I don't care if some of them are nice. I don't care if on an individual basis there are some nice ones. Bye. EBT mom on junk food cuts.
It's not even cool. Like, why they do that? What's the point of food stamps if it's just for real food?
Hannah Moore believes she and...
What's the point of food stamps if it's just for real food?
Other SNAP recipients should be able to go into the grocery store and buy whatever they like. Soda, candy, prepackaged sweets, prepared desserts, and juice with less than half of
Got that purple juice.
natural fruit or vegetable juice in it.
That purple grape drink. Grape
Will
drink.
not be allowed to be purchased on SNAP cards.
I don't know what Trump is doing. I don't know what's going on.
I want my grape drink.
It's not even cool. Like, why they do that? What's the point?
Why they do that? Indeed, Shaniqua. Why they do that? This guy. I just stumbled across him the other day.
We were asking the public to please stop referring to him as the brown shooter, as this has an inherently Islamophobic connotation.
No, it's actually
And
it's because of the university. It's not because of the
Brown because of the Brown University, not because of the color of skin. Right. We are also asking the public to please stop
It's a comedian.
posting photos of Mufasa Carmax. We would, for the sake of diversity, really
Mufasa Carmax.
like to pin this on a different ethnicity, because it is unfair to keep blaming Islam for every violent act they commit.
That's great. Mufasa Carmax. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Looks like Rep. Ilhan Omar is in hot water again. Falsely claimed that her son was pulled over by ICE agents. Oh yeah, I remember that just a few days ago, right? After a Target run, and it claimed that he was asked for proof of citizenship, but ICE says she's lying through her teeth. Acting Director Todd Lyons called it a ridiculous effort to unfairly demonize our law enforcement officers, insisting enforcement is based on immigration status, not race or ethnicity. Yeah. Oh. Called out for lying about her son.
You've said that federal immigration agents actually pulled over your son on Saturday and asked him to prove his citizenship. He is, of course, a U.S. citizen, as are you. The Department of Homeland Security says, and I'm quoting them, ICE has absolutely zero record of its officers or agents pulling over Congresswoman Omar's son, and have accused you of seeking to, quote, demonize ICE as part of a PR stunt. Their words. What do you say to that?
Well, if ICE is saying that they have documentation of every single person that they have pulled over in Minneapolis, we would love to see that record, because we've certainly, myself and the governor, have been asking them to share information with us on the ways in which they have interacted with Minnesotans, and they have not been able to provide a single information. So it is amazing that they're able to put out this statement in saying definitely that they did not pull my son over when they haven't been able to answer anything else. And ICE has been known to lie when it comes to their enforcement.
Wow. California Governor hopeful Eric Swalwell is really? I had not heard that. Neglects job in the House to mingle with celebs. Oh, he's off on the party circuit, huh? Of course. Well, you've got to court the celebs if you're going to win in Cali. You got to do it. Apparently. Oh, God. What even is this? Nope. Ew. Ugh. Okay, brutal moment as independent journalist Nick Shirley confronts and grills a Minnesota Democrat state rep for letting Somalis commit rampant fraud under Tim Walz. She apparently loses her mind. Oh gosh.
Yes.
Is it this one on the left?
He has some very valid questions to ask about what's going on here in Minnesota. And do you think this fraud
I don't know who
crosses?
you are.
Oh, she's got Karen written all over.
My name is Nick Shirley. Do you think this fraud is Republican?
She got the glasses, she got the hair, she got the getup.
Or Democrat, or just facts that fraud is happening?
You got it all. She got the attitude.
Because because that's what I heard you talking about.
I know what I said is that
because
what we're talking
we want
about
to build trust, but fraud is fraud. So why should we be enabling fraud to happen here?
No, I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Oh, it's this guy. This guy. He's great. Nat, I forget his name, but he's like a disability advocate or something. He spoke at a city council meeting. I'll see if I can find the clip after this, but he's awesome.
Accountable for this.
Okay, sir.
No. This
Sir,
is not.
sir.
When are you going to hold Governor Walz? No. She is a representative for the state of Minnesota. Yes or no?
Excuse me?
Yes. Are you?
If you're going to talk to me like
are
that.
you going to say to her, I'm a disability advocate.
I heard you, and
get
we got a chance
overstimulated.
to testify.
Thank you for testifying today.
No. Ma'am, the facts are the fact that fraud is happening here, and it's not a nonpartisan issue. How come you think fraud has been able to happen so much underneath?
I think if you've been listening to our hearings, we've had now 10 hearings on this. And so there's really good data from the people who both work within the administration as well as who, both Democrat and Republicans. I think what you heard today is that the Republicans who control this committee are not actually interested in solving fraud. What they're interested in is telling a story.
This fraud has happened underneath Democrat leader Tim Walz.
There has been Medicaid fraud across the country under Democrats and Republicans. There's fraud.
Oh, come on. Ag.
Fraud within the Trump administration. We have is fraud.
Get honest.
Private
It
providers
is rampant in your state.
have made government a mark. And so every person running government, Democrats or Republicans, are dealing with the issue of how to keep fraudsters out of our public payment. We're also dealing with veterans. We're dealing with consumers. I hope you're looking at that. If you look at United Health, currently is being charged with defrauding Medicare. You know who runs Medicare? President Trump. And so it isn't a partisan issue. The fact that
Did she really just try to somehow blame President Trump for someone defrauding Medicare? What?
you're trying to make it a partisan issue tells me you have an angle, which is fine.
What?
That's why I asked who you're with.
Well, a lot of fraud has happened here. Political correctness is
Governor
stopping.
Walz, President Trump.
Yes, being against fraud is a partisan issue. You heard it first. From Minnesota State Rep Fat Ass.
Governor, you look down the line, and I hope you're talking about that, because if you look at what CMS has put out, right, Medicaid fraud is a 50-state issue. And so, again, it is not a partisan issue. There are Democrats and Republicans who are sitting in that committee talking about it. But what you did here was the Republican chair say she's not turning information over to the one person in government who can stop payment. And I hope you print that.
Thank you for coming today.
Okay. Crazy. Well, you saw what happened there.
Yeah, what was that last little bit?
Thank you for coming today.
Okay.
Oh, thank you for coming today.
Well, You saw what happened there?
Oh boy! It's not just Minnesota. Whistleblowers from across the country are coming forward to the Oversight Committee warning of widespread fraud in social programs. Of course, it's fucking everywhere. Especially bad in Minnesota, but yeah, I'm would definitely like to know how bad it is in other states too. Especially my own. Guarantee you it goes on here.
Oversight Committee speaking with whistleblowers with similar claims from across the country, including in Minnesota, where a fraud case continues to rock that state. The Republican chairman, Congressman James Comer, says the issues could be widespread. James Comer, Chairman, House Oversight Committee, Republican, Kentucky, back with us once again tonight here on the Hill. Congressman, Mr. Chairman, thanks for being with us. I wonder what you made of what you just heard there from Rich McHugh, and what might you want to learn?
Well, first of all, I applaud News Nation for doing some tremendous investigative reporting. That's what we need for our congressional investigation to be successful. We have to have a curious media. We have to have whistleblowers, and we have to have documents turned over. And we've got whistleblowers coming forward. We welcome more whistleblowers in more states to come forward and reach out to the House Oversight Committee. We will treat you with your confidentiality and sincerity. We want to get to the bottom of this. It does appear that this is a very organized scheme in multiple states with groups of Somalis. I would go out on a limb and say that I would say this is happening in other states with other social programs, with other groups. There's massive amounts of fraud in our social programs, whether they be SNAP, whether they be housing programs, whether it be Medicaid. And we don't have the funds in Washington to continue to throw money at these social programs and not provide any oversight. So hopefully now, with the whistleblowers that are coming forward in Minnesota, with the whistleblower that you've identified in Maine, hopefully now we can start putting the pieces together and first stop this fraud, and second, hold people accountable who allow this to happen.
So as you describe it, potentially an organized scheme in multiple states, and I hear you, Congressman, on speaking to people and wanting them to come forward, but at the end of the day, whether it be potentially in Minnesota, potentially in Maine, potentially in other states, what could Congress do here?
We have to people who are receiving these benefits who are ineligible, and if you're an illegal, you're ineligible to receive these benefits. But it's also by providers. Medical providers are using AI technology to overbill Medicare and Medicaid. That's a massive amount of fraud. You've got people who are receiving SNAP benefits who are ineligible. There are people in my home state of Kentucky receiving Medicaid who are ineligible to receive Medicaid. That's why we've asked for states to recertify people on Medicaid. We want people recertified to receive SNAP benefits. I mean, if you are receiving massive amounts of government welfare, the least you can do is take the time to reapply so the government can make sure that you still meet the criteria to receive these government benefits. All these government programs were created to be temporary safety net programs. And what's happened over time is they've morphed into massive amounts of entitlement programs. And we can't continue to throw money away.
Entitlement is a good word for this. Yeah.
At massive amounts of welfare benefits to people
in more ways than one
who are ineligible.
Of course, when you talk about SNAP, there's a much bigger conversation and debate for another day. I hear you, though, on the whistleblowers. Thanks for joining us tonight, Congressman James Comer. You know how this goes.
Sickening. Oh, man. What? MIT professor may have been murdered by Iranian operative, according to Israel. Why are they stepping into the mix here? Publicly, especially? Like, why are they just announcing this? Seems a bit odd to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. Okay, a world-renowned MIT nuclear science professor who was murdered in his home may have been assassinated by an Iranian operative, Israeli officials said. Okay. Why did they... Why are they saying this? Like, I don't know, like, what... Why are they inserting themselves into this? Okay, Israeli officials have said Iranian operatives targeted the leading nuclear fusion researcher, according to Jerusalem Post. No further information on this theory was given, and it has not been corroborated at this stage by any investigative or law enforcement authorities in the U.S. Yeah, that is sketchy. Like, why are they just offering up a claim like this completely unprompted? They have no stake in this whatsoever. No, at least publicly known stake in this. So what the fuck are they doing? Bizarre. Did they do it? I'm just saying, I mean... Ilhan Omar refused to answer why she lied about ICE targeting her son.
Hello, Congresswoman Omar. DHS says they have no record of ICE pulling over your son. Why did you lie about ICE targeting your son? One more time, why did you lie about ICE targeting your son, Congresswoman? Do you think it's responsible to lie about ICE targeting an individual in this time when domestic and Islamic terrorists are targeting ICE officials? Do you care to comment?
Nothing. Rachel Madcow says tens of millions of people will contract HIV every year because Donald Trump.
We were within sight of ending AIDS forever in our lifetimes, within a decade. And Marco Rubio and Donald Trump decided they didn't understand it, or it seemed too gay or too black or too poor to them. And they just cut it all off and blew up 30 years of work for nothing.
For nothing.
For nothing, for no benefit. It's not like it's going to save a lot of money to have tens of millions of people getting HIV every year. You know what I mean? It's not going to save money. This is not something that's going to redound to the United States' benefit. And I don't think they understood it. I tell myself they didn't understand it because I think if I believed that Marco Rubio actually understood what he was doing, I think that would challenge my faith in terms of understanding him as a full human being. But it's absolutely, it is repulsive, and it is going to cause the deaths of millions of people, and it is going to be on Marco Rubio's head for the rest of his life, no matter what else.
Yeah, everyone's going to catch HIV. If
he ever does.
Because Marco Rubio. Or hear me out, you could stop having butt sex. I'm just saying, you could do that. And or sharing needles, you could stop doing that too. Why didn't the Biden administration release the Epstein files? Kamala Harris responds. Oh God, he had Kamala on.
Why didn't the Biden administration release those files? Was that something that they felt would look bad while they're running against this guy, or why didn't they come out during your administration?
To give you an answer that will not satisfy your curiosity, I will tell you, we, perhaps to our damage, but we strongly and rightly believed that there should be an absolute separation between what we wanted as an administration and what the Department of Justice did. We absolutely adhered to that, and it was right to do that. The Justice Department would make its decisions independent of any political or personal vendetta or concern that we may have. And that's the way it worked.
Why didn't
Venezuelan National Assembly unanimously approved a resolution rejecting Donald Trump's order to impose a full blockade on sanctioned oil tankers entering or leaving the country. No, I don't think we need to watch them doing it, but they did it. U.S. and Russian officials are expected to meet in Miami this weekend. To discuss Ukraine. Witkoff and Kushner are expected to represent the U.S. side, of course. Okay, New York Post exclusive. Unseen photo reveals the time Bill Clinton demanded Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell join him at King's wedding. Totally crazy. Which king? Moroccan King Mohammed VI. Yep, demanded to bring two unrelated plus ones. The now notorious Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Did Epstein exchange a favor for this invitation? Perhaps involving a young girl? And a massage? Oh, wow. There's a photo. Oh, that's at the White House, 93. Where's the promised photos? These are all old. Oh, this is it. Fuzzy. That's all we get, huh? Enough to recognize them, though. There they are. Lane's looking a little cozy with Bill. Okay, Kristen Robbins, chair of the Minnesota House Fraud Prevention Committee, says whistleblowers don't feel comfortable working with Attorney General Keith Ellison's office. I'll bet they don't. He's a dirtbag.
I continue to do both. But what I will say to regarding...
And actually, dirtbag is probably a lot too kind for him. He's worse.
Why I'm not sharing currently with the department and with the Office of the Attorney General is because of the trust broken with the whistleblowers. That predates this committee by years. And the whistleblowers only felt comfortable coming forward when they knew someone outside the Attorney General's office and the department was willing to listen to them, because they have tried repeatedly to share their concerns with the department and with the Attorney General's office and have either been ignored or ghosted, or they have been retaliated against, surveilled, and other problems. And so because I'm first trying to build trust with the whistleblowers, that's why we're not referring back to the department, because they are very afraid. If I begin to feel like we can do that without violating the whistleblower trust, then I would certainly want to share. And I have had meetings with Commissioner Gandhi privately in my office over the months, and we have a good dialogue. I also think what would build trust is responses to my inquiries. So after every hearing since June, I've sent letters to the department asking for additional data. I've had one response, and it was after a press inquiry. So I have 6 outstanding data requests to the department that I'm still waiting for information on. So it would help build trust if you would respond to me. So we will continue to work on building trust, and I really mean that, but it has to be a two-way street.
It's if they can They can really uncover the dirt there in Minnesota. And I think it's going to be so much worse than any of us even realize at this point. Bad. Disability advocate Nathaniel Olson just ripped into tumults in Minnesota's DHS during today's Fraud and Prevention Oversight Committee hearing. Okay. Oh, well, thank you. This is, yeah, Nate Olson. This is the clip I was mentioning earlier.
Madam Chair, I'm Nathaniel M. Olson, a disability advocate for the state of Minnesota. I've heard the commissioners and the Department of Human Services, but the one thing that I'm freaking worried about is this freaking fraud that is happening over our state, where there's 600,000 disability people in the state of Minnesota that could suffer. And sadly, it's quite interesting that we have Governor Walz speaking in front of the state and saying that this fraud is nothing beside, but my people are done suffering. We're done with this fraud. We're done with the Department of Human Services coming up here and saying, oh, we're going to figure this out. This has been too long. The administration knew that this fraud was coming. I've talked to families, parents, everyone have been reaching out to me and saying, oh, this is what is happening to my child. This is what is happening to my child. We're afraid. We need to put aside these differences and we need to come together and put a stop to this fraud. Our governor is not doing anything to help us, but sit here and decide he wants to blame Donald J., the President of the United States, who has nothing to do with this. There is a time to hold our governor accountable, and I'm not seeing it. This fraud is outrageous. And I'm very scared for my little brother if he goes into ICS home. But right now he's home with my parents, and he's going to stay there because I'm going to keep fighting for these disability people because none of them are right here. And I am their voice. It is time for us to say enough is enough. I'm done. And it makes me sad to see what's happening to our state. This was a great state. It was. But all of this fraud that is coming around here, all these excuses that is happening, needs to stop. Minnesota needs to become a great state again. Thank you, and thank you guys for your guys' hard work.
Thank
you. Yep. Sad. Okay. Alright, trying to figure something out on my... Got a PDF I need to fill out. Form I gotta send back. Yeah. I don't have what I need. Alright. Let's keep going. Fannie Willis is a train wreck. Oh, yeah.
I would say...
Oh, speaking of, isn't there a clip of her, like, freaking out at someone or something? See if I can find that.
That poor Nathan Wade, apparently...
Over Nathan Wade. In fact, let's watch that first. So we can see what they're talking about. That Fannie Willis just crashed out and pulled the race card when confronted with the documents showing how many tax dollars her office paid her lover, Nathan Wade.
I don't review those documents, so you're asking me to look at documents that I haven't for the first time. What I can tell you is that I allowed Mr. Wade to bill 160 hours a week, and then Mr. Wade would be the first one in the office making sure that my staff arrived. He corrected their behavior. They thought that 8:30 meant 8:30. He taught them that 8:30 means 7:45. He got there before them. He left after him. He taught them how to do this case, and he was a leader to that team and a public servant. And for that, him like me has been threatened thousands of times. You want something to investigate as a legislature? Investigate how many times they've called me the N-word. Why don't you investigate that? Why don't you investigate them writing on my house? Why don't you investigate the fact that my...
Why would they even care about that? Who cares if some people called you the N-word, ma'am? Come on.
My house has been swatted. If you want something to do with your time that makes sense, and you can use all this in your campaign ad, you attacked Fonnie Willis. What have you done, sir? Nothing.
Try harder, bitch.
So I'm going to refer you to the screen. I know you said you don't approve.
I don't look at this. I've never.
Wow.
Why don't you investigate the fact that my house has been swatted? If you want something to do with your time that makes sense.
Whoop de effing do.
And you can use all this in your campaign ad, you attacked Fonnie Willis. What have you done, sir? Nothing.
So I'm going to refer you.
Real piece of work. Okay, here we go.
I would say that poor Nathan Wade. Apparently, Nathan Wade had to buy her that fake rabbit fur coat that she wore into the court, to the Georgia Senate hearing today. She went in there. She was defiant. She was telling the Georgia senators that their questions were so-called dumbass and some other things that Big Fanny was saying. Big Fanny is a train wreck. She's always been a train wreck, and she clearly committed crimes with her bogus prosecutions of President Trump and his aides and his allies related to their lawful objection to the 2020 election, again, which is permitted by the Electoral Count Act of 1887 along with the First Amendment. Big Fanny, she got into big trouble on this prosecution because she hired her dumb, unqualified boyfriend, Nathan Wade, who she defended today. She paid him, it was like $250 an hour, $700,000 in Fulton County funds. She took these lavish trips.
Hang on one second. We're going to hold through the break. I know you're busy. Just stick with us.
Hang.
The Viceroy
hang on.
Is in the house.
Golly, cracks me up. Oh, here's more of Fanny.
But until that happens, I'm going to instruct her not to.
So, on your advice to counsel, you're asserting privilege.
I'm telling her not to answer.
I'm clarifying with the witness.
You don't have to answer that. I'm not a potted plant. I can answer.
You can advise. You can absolutely advise your client, Governor Barnes. I'm asking your client.
I suggest you move on.
I'm asking your client if you are asserting privilege on the answer to the question.
I made the objection on the record, and told you even what you can do to enforce it.
What was the total cost of the election interference case?
I don't recall, but if we want to talk about cost, I'd love to talk about how last year alone the AG paid one lawyer $8 million.
You don't know what the cost of you don't know the cost of the election interference case?
I don't know the exact cost.
What's the range?
I don't want to speculate to numbers. Whatever it cost, they tried to steal the rights of thousands of Georgians. It couldn't have been enough.
What was the rough total operating budget of your office last year?
I don't know that. It's probably around $40 million. That's a speculation and a guess. That includes state money, grant money, and that's not an exact number. I don't do the budget. I have very high-level conversations about that.
Okay. Can you give us a rough breakdown of that, the county budget and the state budget?
I cannot, and I'm not going to guess for you.
Does the federal government give you any money?
I do have some grants, yes.
The only source of federal money you get is from grants?
To my knowledge, I don't. There may be something else. We may have some federal seizure money. If we do, it's not much. So I don't know. I don't want to speculate. If I say, oh, they gave me grant money and this federal seizure money, and you find some line item someplace that I don't know, you'll swear I was trying to lie to you when the truth is I don't know the correct answer.
I'm just
You're lying.
Trying to get to, I know you run a tight ship over there, you're proud of your work. I would assume that you would have
I'm the best DA in the Southeast. Why wouldn't I be proud of my work?
What's your annual budget?
I told you it's around $40 million, but I do not know an exact number.
And what's the approximate source of funds that you receive?
Insane. That disgusting black woman's sass attitude, like, from a public official. Like, seriously?
From the state versus the county.
So trashy.
me, like every other district attorney in the state, do not receive enough funds. I told you that you all pay 20 to 25 ADAs. I don't know the exact number.
I done told you and shit.
I don't have it in front of me.
Fuck off.
You pay two legal assistants and one investigator. Now, Fulton County is 1,000,002 people. It's the place that when people come to Georgia, they're coming is to Atlanta. On a daily basis, we have 5 million people, and we are very improperly funded. If this committee wants to do some
You hear that? She wants more funding.
real work, it'll get
She wants more money to dump into her lover's pockets.
serious about crime
Or clanky hotel rooms.
fighting among the
And days at the spa.
state, from every rural community to
Ma'am, do you have any-
I'm answering my question.
I'm good. That's not the answer to the question.
Okay, well, if this committee wants to get serious about legislation to make the communities in the state of Georgia safer, they will invest more money in every district attorney's office across this state. That's the rural DAs need more.
Insane.
Hey everybody, it's State Senator Colton Moore. We're just walking out of corrupt Fonnie Willis's testimony before the Senate. You've been following along. We've been calling for this state Senate to investigate and defund Fonnie Willis. Well, now it's finally started. She showed up, and most of her answers revolved some kind of crazy race theory that she's come up with. We learned that her value politically has went up nearly $600 million, and she's keeping track of this throughout the entire time she was going after President Trump and the 18 others. What we learned today was absolutely astonishing, ridiculous, and now let's get to some accountability here in the Georgia State Senate. Thanks for keeping me in the fight. We'll be in touch. Hey,
Jack Smith, very arrogant in proceedings. What is this? Oh, didn't he, that's right, he testified before that Senate committee or something, right? Yesterday?
Yes, they are. And of course, we know, and I reported on this, Jack Smith leaking his opening remarks to friendly news organizations who posted what he was going to say behind closed doors, which was a defense of both his January 6th indictment and the documents case against the president. I heard that he was very arrogant in the proceedings, which is not a surprise because that's how we've seen him conduct himself for years. He appeared very haggard, apparently, so maybe that's a good sign that this is wearing him down. But this has to be step one, Steve, in the accountability, culpability for Jack Smith and his team of thugs for what he put this country through for almost 2 years after his appointment, unconstitutional appointment, by the way, by Attorney General Merrick Garland. So I'm sure we'll get more leaks tonight. We already saw Jamie Raskin make a comment saying that he was schooling House Republicans on both indictments. I highly doubt it.
Hang on. No. I want to be blunt. MSNBC and Raskin and that whole crowd, the whole thing about the Washington field office, we know they're never Trump. They blew it off. This is a fight. And people got to understand, we lose the midterms. Jack Smith is going to be one of the senior guys on Raskin's staff. I cannot let this audience know how, not just intense, how important this is. They're so arrogant. They think they got this. I mean, Jack Smith walked into today, and listen, it is a Judiciary Committee without Matt Gaetz, right? So you got some good people on there, but you don't maybe have the sharpest questioners. He walked in there arrogant. In the media, MSNBC today saying, hey, they won. That Jack Smith schooled the House Judiciary Committee, ma'am.
Well, I mean, of course, that's going to be the spin. However, Politico and you and I talked about this morning, is that it appeared that Jack Smith was going to be very obstinate and stonewall any answers. We saw this from one of his henchmen, Thomas Windham, who was one of the lead prosecutors in the J6 case. He refused to answer even basic questions, which resulted in a criminal referral to this DOJ last month for obstruction of Congress against Tom Windham. Don't know the status of that criminal referral. But look, Jack Smith has to be at the top of the list. Fine, Jim Comey. Okay, Letitia James, I get it. That's sexy and, you know, I guess satisfied some corners of the base. Jack Smith, everything about him embodies the corrupt, reckless, dangerous nature of this Department of Justice. And if he is not held accountable and the people below him, Tom Windham and Molly Gaffney, J.T. Cooney in the Washington case, Jay Brett and David Harbach in the classified documents case, which, by the way, was dismissed by Judge Cannon in July of 2024 after determining that his appointment violated the Appointments Clause of the Constitution. His January 6th case, I posted this, I'll have more on this, was falling apart at the seams, not just after the Supreme Court immunity ruling, which gutted his J6 indictment against the president, hanging on by a thread by other Supreme Court ruling in the Fisher case, and also returning that to the Supreme Court at some point, which would have gutted even more of that January 6th indictment. For him to walk in there so arrogantly, what does that demonstrate, Steve? He is not worried about being held accountable. And that is the alarming, I think, thing that we should take away from today. He apparently has started a law firm with these very same people.
100%.
So, yeah.
Folks understand, they think they're winning here. This is the point to take away today. They think they're winning. Let me pivot while we got time, and I got you. Fani Willis, the same arrogance. Fani Willis, the senator, saying these are dumb-ass questions, kind of saying, why am I even brought here? Your thoughts, ma'am?
I mean, I don't think I could be any more powerful in my assessment than our friend Mike Davis in what he just told you about that. But look, I think that they have a reason to feel smug. We are almost a year into total control of the government, at least the legislative and executive branch. And aside from a few, of these lawfare-related indictments, obviously they have to confront this hyper-partisan judiciary, which they're getting some wins on. But time is ticking. The base is understandably frustrated. Dan Bongino now, as you reported, is resigning as deputy director. Who knows what's going to happen at the FBI now? So there is understandable frustration, growing frustration by the base.
Are we, Julie Kelly, are we a step closer to impeaching Boasberg, ma'am, the judge?
I have no idea. Not a clue. Haven't heard a thing. Recall that last month, 6 Republican senators sent a letter to the chief judge of the D.C. Circuit. So this is Sri Srivansan, the Obama appointee, who technically has authority over Jeb Boasberg, asking him to suspend Jeb Boasberg pending impeachment proceedings. That was over a month ago. Did we get a response from the D.C. Circuit, from Judge Srivansan? No, not that we know of. Has anyone moved a step closer towards holding Jeb Boasberg accountable, who was just bench slapped again this week by the D.C. Circuit, saying that his contempt inquiry is all out of sorts, that he's not following federal rules of criminal procedure by pursuing this inquiry before bringing an official referral to the DOJ? He doesn't care either. These people now feel insulated. They feel like they're going to get away with it, and there's a very good reason why, because this Republican leadership has been a failure so far in doing what needs to be done to hold them accountable.
Nice.
Here with more.
Jim Jordan being asked about Jack Smith's deposition.
Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan is with us. Well, we had John Solomon on last night. What did we learn? That apparently the FBI was saying that you don't have probable cause, and they went in anyway. And then we have the issue of the dual system of justice, because Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, top secret, classified information, not covered by the Presidential Records Act. Nothing happened in those cases. Your reaction to what happened today?
Yeah. Well, Jack Smith testified for 7 hours, and none of that time did it change my belief, as you said, Sean, that this was all political. His investigation, like Alvin Bragg, like Fonnie Willis, was driven by politics. And the information that came out confirms what we had learned in a deposition with the former head of the FBI in the Washington field office, Mr. D'Antuono, when he said that when they did the raid on Mar-a-Lago on President Trump's home, that they shouldn't have done it. If they were going to go, they should have notified President Trump's lawyers. They should have accompanied them on all these things that he said we should have done instead of how it was actually conducted by the Garland Justice Department. So I can't get into the details of Mr. Smith's testimony, but I will tell you he did not take the fifth like his deputies did. We deposed 3 of his deputies. They took the fifth. A couple of them took the fifth multiple times, 70 and 71 times respectively. One of them we referred to the Justice Department because we believe he was truly obstructing our investigation. We don't do many of these referrals. The facts have to be there, and we did for Mr. Wyndham, one of his deputies. So I think we got some important information today, particularly on something we've talked about, them using getting the phone logs. Think about this, Sean. The Speaker of the House, Jack Smith waits until Kevin McCarthy becomes Speaker of the House. Then he goes to the carrier, to AT&T, says, I want his phone records from 2 years prior, and I want them for a 2-month time period. And oh, by the way, we're going to go to a judge and tell AT&T, you can't tell your customer, the highest Republican in the government, that the government is getting his phone records. I mean, they know when he called someone, when someone called him, how long the call lasted, and if Kevin initiated it, they know where he was at when he did so. So we got into those kind of issues as well, but again, I can't get into the details of his response until we actually review the transcript and release that publicly.
Jim Jordan, that sounds an awful like
Attorney for Jack Smith, Lanny Brewer here.
Here we go. Sorry. Good morning. Jack Smith looks forward today into answering the committee's questions into his investigation into President Trump's alleged attempt to unlawfully overturn the 2020 presidential election and his possession and secured the classified documents at his social club in Palm Beach. In today testifying before this committee, Jack is showing tremendous courage in light of the remarkable and unprecedented retribution campaign against him by this administration and this White House. Let's be clear. Jack Smith, a career prosecutor, conducted this investigation based on the facts and based on the law and nothing more. Thank you.
Yesterday, DOJ released documents showing that there wasn't probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago. What do you say to that?
Oh, now Nick Reiner. Alan Jackson, defense attorney for Nick Reiner, delivered remarks after his client waived his right to a speedy arraignment.
How would you like to proceed today? Your Honor, if we could, I would like to ask for a continuance of the arraignment. I don't want to get complete at this juncture. It's too early. We've coordinated with counsel from the DA's office, and January 7th, with the court's permission, will be a convenient date for us to come back for potential arraignment.
Thank you. At this time, I'll take a waiver, speedy arraignment waiver from your client. Mr. Reiner, do you have a constitutional and statutory right to a speedy arraignment? Your counsel is requesting that your arraignment be continued to January 7, 2026. Do you waive your right to a speedy arraignment so that your arraignment can be heard on January 7, 2026? And does counsel join in the waiver?
I join, Your Honor.
The court finds that the defendant has made a knowing and intelligent waiver of his right to a speedy arraignment, and that his counsel joins in that waiver. Letter set January 7, 2026 for arraignment in this department. Bail to stand at no bail. Anything further, please?
Not by the defense, Your Honor.
Anything further?
No. So, judge sure looks interesting. I don't know where the perp is here. I don't know where Nick Reiner sitting at? Guess they're not showing him.
It was a brief court appearance for Nick Reiner, but a dramatic one, in that he was brought into the court dressed only in that suicide prevention smock, which hints, of course, at his mental state in the wake of being charged with murdering his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner. He spoke only once when the judge asked him about delaying his formal arraignment for 3 weeks.
Do you waive your right to a speedy arraignment so that your arraignment can't be heard on January 7, 2026?
Nick Reiner's attorney is Alan Jackson, who has previously represented high-profile clients such as Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein. He would not take questions after the hearing, but did say this.
There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case. These need to be thoroughly but very carefully dealt with and examined and looked at and analyzed.
We have now learned that both Rob and Michelle Reiner were killed in the master bedroom of their home in the early hours of Sunday morning, with officials confirming they died from, quote, multiple sharp force injuries. It wasn't until hours later that Nick Reiner was arrested, apparently tracked by cell phone pings, and shortly after he was seen on this gas station convenience store video. His sister Romy, who found her parents' bodies on Sunday, and his brother Jake released their first statement since the murders, saying in part, quote, the horrific and devastating loss of our parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner, is something that no one should ever experience. They weren't just our parents, they were our best friends. It is, of course, guys, hard to imagine what Romy and Jake are going through right now, losing their beloved.
Crazy stuff. Oh, God. Hillary Clinton at Clinton Global Initiative 2025.
Democracy is under siege.
By who? You?
The polite phrase for this is democratic backsliding. But that's a euphemism.
I mean, yeah, you are all backsliders. Sure.
That doesn't meet the moment. Let's call it what it is. It's a power grab. And let's be clear, no knight in shining armor is coming to save democracy. It's on all of us to save our countries and our rights. But step away from the screens and look around, and you'll see organizations, activists, nonprofits, cities, states, religious organizations, all doing work that represents the best of our humanity. I really believe that any problem we face, there's somebody somewhere who is working to solve it.
Is that what you call what you did in Haiti?
It takes a great big village to save democracy.
Oh, no, she didn't. Did she really just say that?
We are that village. So we have to step up every day, and we have to look for ways to take this spirit of CGI back out into the communities we come from.
Oh, it's base target Granny. Target Granny.
I know people are calling for her to be fired for this. Do you think that that's right? Would you like that to happen?
No, I don't think that's right. Like, one saying I have is, two wrongs don't make a right. You know, she wronged me, but I don't want to wrong her, or I don't want her wrong, because it's not going to make it right. I mean, that was her opinion. But she's the one that put it on Facebook, or put it on that. So, you know, but I
Facebook
really wouldn't want to see somebody lose their job over it.
I know people
are... Me, I'm a little bit different. I'd love to see this person lose their job. I'd be perfectly fine with that. Here she is, Michaelia Ponce. What a nice last name that is. I believe that's a British word for pedophile. who harassed an elderly Target employee, Jeannie Beeman, over her wearing a Charlie Kirk Freedom t-shirt. Oh, she issued an apology. I behaved badly, and I regret it deeply. Wow. Baffo. I want to take full responsibility for my actions and say clearly and sincerely that I was wrong. I behaved badly, and I regret it deeply. I want to directly apologize to Jeannie. I am truly sorry for approaching you at your workplace and putting you in an uncomfortable and unfair position. You did not deserve that, and my behavior was wrong. So pathetic. Didn't mean a single word of this. This is all just trying to get the Target offer back. You'll pardon the pun. I also apologize to Jeannie's family for the stress and attention my actions caused. I apologize to Target as her employer. I apologize to Enlo, which is Michaelia's employer. And I apologize to the Chico community. Okay. I understand that what I did reflected poorly on myself and disrupted a sense of safety and respect that should exist in a workplace and in our community. I did not handle the situation the way I should have. I allowed my emotions to take over. And instead of choosing restraint and empathy, that was my failure and I own it. I regret my actions and I'm genuinely sorry for the harm that they caused. I wish I can go back and undo what happened. But I can acknowledge it honestly, learn from it, and commit to doing better moving forward. Well, I don't buy a single word you just said. But I'll bet you'll probably think twice before doing that shit next time. And you know what? Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all we need. Texas woman accused of placing razor blades and fish hooks in bakery items at a Mississippi Walmart. What?
Tonight, these terrifying images sending shockwaves across the Gulf
Oh my gosh.
Coast. Razor blades in loaves of bread.
Oh my gosh.
Investigators say 33-year-old Camille
Oh boy, that fits.
Benson placed multiple razors inside bread.
What even is it? Where is it from? Couldn't tell you if you asked me. No idea.
At 2 Walmarts. The Walmart
That is a genetic mess right there.
Supercenter on CT Switzer and the neighborhood Walmart on Pass Road. Lieutenant Candace Young with Biloxi Police say this unusual crime spree started earlier this month on December 5th when a customer found a razor blade in a banana nut muffin.
Store associates, combed through their merchandise. They couldn't find any other compromised items. Thought, hey, this is just an isolated event.
However, it wasn't. 2 days later, a customer at the neighborhood Walmart found a razor in a loaf of bread. Young says police were not called until more than a week later, after someone else at the Supercenter found razor blades in a loaf of brioche bread.
They did another sweep of their merchandise on display for sale and found multiple loaves of bread that were compromised with razor blades. They also, at that time, found a muffin that had a fish hook in it. Somebody had poked those items through the plastic packaging.
Yep. Okay, President Trump ushers in America's 250th birthday festivities with Freedom 250, a nonpartisan organization running the celebration.
This is such an exciting announcement coming from President Trump about Freedom 250, and the website just launched this morning, freedom250.org, so I encourage everybody to go check it out. President Trump has said publicly that as horrible as 2020 was, that it sort of had to happen that way because now he's back in office and can preside over America's big 250th birthday bash. So by launching Freedom 250, it is a new organization, nonpartisan, bipartisan that is going to work in conjunction with the America 250 Commission, federal agencies, the White House 250 Task Force to launch the presidential programming, which is going to include, well, as we saw over the last year, the phenomenal military anniversaries, Army 250, Navy 250, Marine Corps 250. It's going to kick off again on New Year's Eve with a grand illumination of the Washington Monument. And then next year, we're going to have incredible events like the Great State Fair on the National Mall with all 50 states represented. We're going to have the UFC 250 fight on the South Lawn, which is going to be phenomenal. That's on June 14th, which is Flag Day and also
Trump's
the President's birthday.
Nice.
It's going to be incredible. We're going to have the Patriot Games for high school athletes across the entire nation. We're going to have a national prayer event on the Mall to return this country back to God, because we can't do any of this without him. And then, of course, it's going to culminate on July 4th with a spectacular national celebration. Mall.
Okay, hold on. Freedom 250 Trail to Independence Tour nationwide, ongoing now. December 31st, Washington Monument lighting. And New Year's Eve show. Fun. Cool. Okay. May 17th, One Nation Under God, National Prayer Meeting, or Prayer Gathering, rather, National Mall. Memorial Day National Observance at Arlington National. FIFA Fan Fest. Oh, World Cup Block Party, National Mall. That ought to be wild. Great American State Fair, later on in June on the National Mall. Oh, Teddy Roosevelt Presidential Library opening in Medora, North Dakota. He didn't have one? And then July 3rd, Sail 4th, 250, Parade of Tall Ships, and International Naval Review, New York Harbor. Cool. I would totally love to go to New York for that. Major snap fraud exposed in Massachusetts committed by Haitian migrants Antonia Banhur and Sol Alisme to the tune of $7 million. We saw this one earlier. Crazy. Over 100 Somalians and their large entourages are scheduled to fly into Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport for the Somalian Awards on December 20th, 2025. Another scam to import hundreds of high-profile Somalians into Minnesota. Unreal. Wow. Dirtbags, everyone. I can just about guarantee you. Somalians from around the world will be gathering at the Doubletree by Hilton Hotel, Bloomington, Minneapolis South this Saturday.
meeshaan ka dhici doona hoteelka laftarkiisa ka dhici doona xaflad Somali Hero Awards oo noqon doonta award ceremony-gii ugu weynaa oo lagu qabtay North America xagga soo dhaweynta اعترافka qadarinta.
Who is paying for Nick Reiner's attorney? Indeed. He can't be paying for it himself because he was not part of the inheritance, I don't think.
It does strike me that he has one of the most high-priced, high-powered attorneys.
Or maybe he was.
Immediately off the bat in this case.
I don't think Nancy Grace is going to be the person to ask about this. It's Nancy frickin' Grace, for goodness sake. She'll say anything. Democrat Rep Debbie Wasserman Schultz says the biggest threat to America right now is not Islamic terrorist Donald Trump, we saw. Speculation as to how Nick Reiner was able to hire Alan Jackson.
Everybody's asked me, because I know Alan Jackson, how has Alan Jackson come to be the defense attorney for Nick Reiner? And I think that will be revealed in the coming days. People will learn that. No answer for you on that at this moment, but I do have my own thought. Rob Reiner was a very progressive political guy. His views were liberal. California is a death penalty state, but when Gavin Newsom came to office in 2019, he put a moratorium on the death penalty. Yeah. So San Quentin still has death row.
They just don't kill them.
It just hasn't been active in a long time. So, look, Nick Reiner could get the death penalty. If they go through with it, who knows?
Yeah, he could get the death penalty, but he's not actually going to get the death penalty.
But my feeling
it's ridiculous.
Is I think someone within the family might have hired Alan Jackson. Maybe the siblings, Jake or Romy, maybe cousins, maybe, someone related or close friends, because they know Rob is of the liberal view against the death penalty. And I think Rob also had been, and his wife, Michelle, had been complaining to friends, reportedly, in the last several weeks and months, that they felt Nick's mental state was deteriorating. And they were really, really worried about him. And I think the family knows that Nick is extremely mentally ill, right? And so I think they get Alan Jackson, and what they're going for is not to try and get him off. I think that would be impossible, but not guilty by reason of insanity, which means he would go to a state psychiatric hospital instead of a level 4 prison, And I think that that's probably as sad and hurt and angry and all the emotions that come with losing your parents to their son and a knife. They see the mental illness in a loved one, and I think for some reason they can supersede that anger and try to get him some type of help or some type of, residency in a mental health hospital.
God. Well, I didn't even realize it here, but we are actually a few minutes past the top of the hour. So I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna call it quits. I see Lady Liberty in here.
Good morning.
Apologies for running over there. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing quite good.
It's good to see you. Thank you for. Sorry. Interject into your.
Oh, totally fine. No, you're good. Not an issue at all. You're fine. Yeah. I'll drop you an invite. Yeah, let me drop that to you. Yeah. It's always fun learning this new stuff, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Well, give me Give me like 1 minute, and I'll drop. Oh, and then I'll drop you the Discord link right into Zoom. Here. Let's see. I just got to figure out how to get it. Here we go. Invite a friend. Exactly. There you go. It should be in Zoom chat. Let me know if that works. It should ask you to open up your Discord app. Oh yeah, you got to copy it over to your phone. Yep. And then click it there. Yeah. Oh, there. I think I see you. Yep. Hi, Storm.
Yes.
Cool. You're there.
So much.
Yay.
Thank you.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, now we can chat outside of here. Very good.
Yes, that's great.
All right. Cool. Oh, you're cool. It's fine. It happens to me too. I lose my windows. Yep. Cool. Yep. I'll let you get to it. Yeah. I will. Have a good show. See ya. Yeah. Oh yeah. I gotta pop that off here. There you go. All right. Sorry, YouTube. You were probably hearing like half the conversation there because I wasn't screen sharing. It's always awkward with the handoff. That's it for me. That's all I got for the time being. But I will be back this evening at 5 o'clock sharp. So I'll see you then for more news. Hang out again. See what the rest of the day brings. All right. Well, I'll see you then. I got nothing else, so adios.